Welcome back to Local Talk. Now we're going to get real local, folks. You see this? That's the skate. And if you go to Venice Beach or you go down to Santa Monica to the pier and all that, you're going to see a lot of people doing that. Joining me is Debbie Merrill. Hi, Debbie.
How are you, Bill?
You are a skater.
And you are an ex-skater, huh?
Well,
a new skater.
Maybe I'll go back on again. And the mayor of Santa Monica, Michael Feinstein. Good to have you.
Thanks, Bill.
Michael,
skater.
You were suggesting that Debbie come on. Why?
Well, you know, Bill, we really profit in Santa Monica a lot by having people come from all over the region to Santa Monica.
All over the world.
All over the world. So we do well, but we like to give back. And one of the great natural resources that we give back is Debbie Merrill, our skater, who teaches people how to skate and be healthy down at the beach. Great resource. There's not enough people actually come down to our beach and take advantage of what we have to offer.
Exactly.
Hearing that, Debbie, you know, there is this bike path and skater path. That's awesome. It goes for
22 miles, Bill. 22 miles of bike path, this unused, natural, gifted resource that we have. And because your show covers all of LA, so many people on the east side and the valley don't even know about it. And they also might get a little intimidated because they go, oh, it's too crowded. There's bikers, there's dogs, there's kids. But I have chosen that as a safe, healthy way to enjoy this resource, and so what I wanted to do was give that back to people because it brought joy in my life. So I started a skating school, and I teach classes for the city and the college, teaching people safety and fun and health. And what better way to, you know, be with your family? It's reasonable, it's inexpensive to come down, take some classes, get some quality lessons, learn, have lunch while you're there, go to the pier, go to the beach, and have a one-stop shop day.
Sounds right to me. I've seen Marvin Brownie down there doing that.
God.
Even when he retired from the council, he was out there.
Well, Mayor Reardon was a student of mine.
That's
Mayor
right.
Nancy Reardon. Steve Martin I've taught down there. Many celebrities and stars, starters, and
How about you, Mary?
You know, I spend a lot of time on the board.
Rollerblading?
No, I run. But here's the thing. It's a beautiful resource. There's no doubt about it. We all love the boardwalk. We love the water. We love the beach. But I think one of the problems in Santa Monica could be the fact that people can't park near the beach. And not only can they not park on the street near the beach because of preferential parking, but the rates for parking in the lots are high. And maybe that's the problem. Not that the resource isn't great, but the fact that parking is difficult.
And you know, Mary, while you've been gone, on
that.
the East Coast, we have changed the rates at the beach, and we've done two things. We've lowered the all-day rate from $7 to $5, but we've now also added several hundred short-term metered rates at the beach for $1 an hour. So you can park for 2 hours now for just $1 an hour, where you used to have to pay $7 for the whole day. That's both at the end of Ocean Park Boulevard and a little bit south of there as well. So we've tried to address the concerns you've talked about.
It's at all the Perrys. Like, my school is located south of the pier at the Perrys Cafe, so the meter parking is right next to that. So you can come down, take a lesson, have a healthy lunch, and then go back home for $2.
Wendy, what do you think of all this?
Well, I think it's wonderful. I know you've put in new parking, and I've appreciated it because I do use the beach a lot. But are there plans for more parking? Because it's a start, but it's not meeting the demand.
Right, it's a start. What we wanted to do, because we actually lose revenue by cutting the rates, is we wanted to go ahead and try it for a couple of years and see how much people use it. But yeah, we're open to including more over time.
What is the possibility of reducing or cutting back or cutting out the preferential parking? And by preferential parking, for viewers who don't know what that is, it's where residents can get stickers to park on the street, and that means people who don't live in the neighborhood can't park there.
Well, one of the issues that the Coastal Commission has brought up in previous years about communities that aren't friendly at the beach and are trying to be exclusionary is that if they have preferential parking, they're really working against beach access. But we have about 5,000 parking spaces at the beach, and we have about 25,000 parking spaces in the first couple blocks at the beach in Santa Monica between our downtown and in Ocean Park. So we've tried to make a situation where both our residents, where employees, and where visitors all have a place to park. And the situation at our beach lots in Ocean Park along the beach makes very difficult is that we have a business district right near where our preferential parking is. If we didn't have the preferential parking to protect our residents' parking, what would happen is it wouldn't be beachgoers. We'd have employees who work in the Main Street Business District taking all those spots as well. So we try to strike a balance.
Do you have any parking rights where you have these areas where people can come and park their cars and then they take a shuttle down to the ocean? Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, what we have is we have an electric, very environmentally friendly shuttle system that runs from our downtown, where we have thousands of parking spaces in the Bayside District near the 3rd Street Promenade that runs from there to the hotels and then down to the beach along Main Street and back.
But see, if you learn to skate, you can do that on skates. What a healthier way, and you can shop along the way and see the ocean and see all that beauty down there. I mean, why drive? Why pollute? You know,
What do you think of that, David?
What I think is that Santa Monica Beach, the boardwalk,
And
the
Venice
bike
and all
path
that.
is the most amazing place on the planet.
People from all over the world come there.
But
just
there's
for that.
one big issue. I
Yeah.
take my son 3 times a week there, and we ride bikes and we do things. The mixed use with bladers, walkers, runners, bikers is dangerous.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you that every single time I'm at the beach during a crowded day, there's always a paramedic there doing something for somebody who's been injured along the bike path. And I love the place. I mean, we go and I've been going there for 17 years. What can we do to make that place safer so people aren't injured given all the mixed use?
Hopefully I'm doing that, and that's providing inline skating lessons for safety for people. Most of the classes we teach are not on the bike path. We don't even take a beginner out there. We have that fabulous parking lot, which is the only time it's ever full is on 4th of July and Memorial Day. So we teach them on that flat, smooth surface or on the grass there, so people can learn to get their balance, learn to stop and go so that they could go on that path safely, be able to avoid obstacles, carriages, and bikes.
It's probably a bigger problem than just bladers. It's the mixed use.
There's no designated area for different things.
They've tried. There's the bike path separated from the walking path.
Right.
Actually, what we've done there is at Bay Street, which is just south of the pier, we've redesigned the intersection between where bikers and walkers cross, because you have the walking path near the hotels and then it comes out and goes on the other side. We redesigned that for safety to make it much more clear. We're also, once we do a little bit more upgrading north of the pier, going to redesign that whole interaction between the people who are in the beach parking lot and who want to walk up to the pier. So both the safety in the teaching and in the design of the pathway, we're trying to address those concerns.
Before we go into another issue, which I want to talk about the Green Party and this instant voting, it's called instant runoff voting that San Francisco just went for. I want to talk a little bit to Mary Moore and make her a guest for a minute.
Oh, no.
Mary, we've missed you. You've been out of town for, I don't know, how long now?
8 months.
And where have you been?
Harvard.
What have you been
Harvard.
doing there?
I am a student at the Kennedy School, which is one of the graduate schools at Harvard, and it's a school for leadership and government. I have a journalism fellowship, and I'm studying foreign policy and defense and terrorism, which is timely, of course, this year, and learning all kinds of great things to
What
make
have
me
you
a
learned?
great reporter.
What was so striking up in Harvard that you can share with us?
Well, I think the tragedy of 9/11 was, in some senses, a great teaching tool for those of us who are in a school talking about leadership and talking about foreign policy. And I think the thing that I'm walking away with most is, how do you deal with a situation where the U.S., the United States, believes that it has a message. It believes it has a way of life that it wants to bring to other people. But how do you do that in a way that's not arrogant, that respects other cultures and other societies? How do you do that? And I think that's what we struggle with, is to be able to bring Western culture that works, improve standards around the world, but not do it in a way that ruins other people's cultures.
Hearing that, journalist as you are, where do you go next?
I don't know, but this is a great opportunity for me to say I'm job hunting. So, I don't know. I'm still in journalism, want to be a journalist. If it's print or television or radio, I don't know.
You know, you were president of the press club, and Pat Morrison is now the president of the press club. So what's your sense of how the press club in L.A. and how we're all doing here?
Well, the press club is going like gangbusters. It's great. And one of the issues that I really focused on as president was the First Amendment, open access, sunshine records, making sure that people who are citizens have an opportunity to know what the government is doing, get their hands on records. The same thing with journalists. And we've seen that this has played out with the County Board of Supervisors, closing down meetings, shutting people out and whatnot. That issue, we've taken that on, and we're really fighting the fight.
Well, we hope you come back, Mary. You know, At Issue is a great show here at Adelphia that you hosted and moderated. Your fans miss you. I get calls all the time, people wanting to know where you are. We're glad you're back on Local Talk right now, and we hope you come back to L.A., right, Michael?
Well, you know, I got to say, Mary covered us here at the City Council in Santa Monica for many years before she went to bigger and bigger things. And as we saw from the earlier questions, she's tough, but she's fair. And that's the best you can ask.
Wow.
So let's make sure the broadcasters out there and the other cablecasters and the newspapers and radios, everybody knows know that Mary Moore in a couple of months finishes at Harvard. We want her back in Southern California.
This is great.
Michael, look, up in San Francisco, the instant runoff voting was approved by the voters. What does that mean?
Well, it means a big step forward for our democracy. The Florida presidential fiasco showed a lot of the deficiencies, whether it was...
How does it work?
How does it work? Really basic. You rank the people who you're in favor of when you vote. Instead of just getting one choice, like say you're a Republican and you like Pat Buchanan better than Bush, but you're afraid of voting for Buchanan, you rank Buchanan 1, Bush 2. Or if you were maybe a little bit left of that, you rank Nader number 1 and Gore number 2. If your first vote doesn't win, your vote goes to your second choice. It guarantees you a majority winner. We haven't had a majority president in a long time. We didn't have it in the last election before the Supreme Court threw it away. But also, it allows people to vote for their conscience, what they really believe in.
Can you cut across party lines?
You can cut across party lines. It gives more freedom to the voter, more expression, and then the ultimate winner gets a more clear direction for where their votes came from. Because, like, say in this system, Nader had been able to, you've been able to really vote for Nader if you believed in him and you weren't worried about the so-called spoiler, lesser of two evil dynamic. Nader would have gotten 15% of the vote. Gore would have won because he would have picked up those transfers, but Gore then would have seen that on issues of trade, on democracy, on a lot of environmental issues, he would have had a stronger communication from the Green movement in this country, and when he governed, it would have been a more accurate signal from the voters.
Okay, so hearing that San Francisco just approved the concept, does that mean on November the 5th they can put up Gray Davis and Bill Simon and the Green Party candidate and all the others and rank them, and we'll know at least how San Francisco people really feel?
Well, it was a Green supervisor, Matt Gonzalez, who pushed it in San Francisco. So far, it's approved for their municipal elections, not yet for the state. The state of Vermont is moving towards doing this, and in Alaska, it's going to be on the ballot for their statewide races as well. I hope that the California Democrats wake up here while they have a majority in the legislature and go ahead and pass this. You got Barbara Boxer coming up in 2 years for election. She could have a tight Senate race. Whether she stays in or not, if there's a Green candidate, will, I think, depend on whether they pass instant runoff voting. They should be smart and pass it while they're on top and not wait until they start dropping in the polls.
Okay, any other stories you want to talk about?
No, this just passed in San Francisco. Is it being challenged in courts at all? I mean,
No.
is it somebody that said it's constitutionally sound?
It's definitely constitutional. The only people who opposed it there were the downtown businesses who used to manipulate the runoff elections, which had really low turnout, just like in L.A., where the runoffs have really bad turnout. This consolidates and saves taxpayer money, and it also helps it turn out, it helps the voters. So only the people who wanted to manipulate democracy for the worst were opposed to it.
Are you going to put this on the agenda for Santa Monica to come to that same kind of a...
Yes, I'm interested in us using this system here as well. We've already given staff direction, and they've started to study it.
You only mentioned the Democrats being supported. Is there a lot of Republican opposition to it?
Well, in Alaska, this is being moved by the Republicans because there, the Republicans and a new party called the Moderate Republicans are both on the ballot, and they've been splitting that sort of vote. So usually it's a situation where one side, quote, or the other. But it's basically good government, and it shouldn't be confused as a reform for any individual interest. Any system that allows voters to truly vote for what they believe in and have that reflected in the ultimate winners and in the electoral system is healthier for everybody.
Ultimately, would there be just one election then?
Yes.
There would be no primaries for parties picking their candidate?
Well, parties would have their own internal primaries, and they would be able to use this internally, which would also help. But in the general election, we just have a single general. The cities often have runoffs in nonpartisan races. Partisan elections, we don't have it, but it would be good for both. And for president, it would involve a whole lot more people, because if you're in a state that is already one way or the other, it's a Democratic state or a Republican state, the people don't even come and campaign to
Mary,
you.
you're up. Last minute in the
Last
show.
minute.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Is there a chance that maybe instant runoff voting is just too complicated for people to understand, and this is not a concept you're going to be able to sell to people?
Right. Everybody knows that, like, for example, I like tofu better than hamburger because I'm a vegetarian.
Yay.
You pick your choices. Anybody knows what they like better than what they like worse. That's all they have to know how to do to make this sort of thing work. And Australia and Ireland, a country that I know you're familiar with, actually use this for their elections.
What about the chaos in the political system? Does this create more chaos, more disharmony?
I think Florida showed us all about chaos in our current system. And I think it's harder right now to try and figure out, do I vote for what I believe in, or do I vote for the lesser two evil? That's more chaotic in a democracy than I think what we could look forward to under instant runoff voting.
There we go. Thank you very
Carrot
much.
juice, and I like carrot juice instead of margaritas.
There we go.
I'm going to have to go back on those skates.
Don't
Thanks.
wait to
You got me
skate, Bill. It's
excited.
on me, okay?
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Panel, especially Mary, welcome home.
Thank you.
Local Talk, everybody. Thank you all very much. And I especially want to thank you out there for sharing your time with us. God bless you, and bye-bye.